In today's video, I'm going to share with you my number one tip that I have for families in order to help their kids. My name is Derek Pesta, CEO and Certified Financial Planner of Pesta and Pesta Wealth Management in Cupertino, California. My number one tip for clients that have kids that are either in high school or just about to start high school is to have them get a job while they're working in the summers after their sophomore year, junior year, and senior year. And your job is to help gift them $7,000 each summer so that they can contribute that to their Roth IRA. This is my number one tip for families to help their kids, and I'll show you exactly how I'd recommend implementing this and why it's a good technique and my favorite tip for families and their kids. So what you do is each summer, what you want to do is go ahead and gift them $7,000. And the reason why this $7,000 is the appropriate amount to gift is that right now, children can, and adults, anyone that's working that has earned income, can contribute around $7,000 into their Roth IRA per year. Now, the limits are different if you're over 50, but we're talking about kids, so this is what makes sense, $7,000. And here's a pro tip. Let's say, for example, you have some low cost basis stock from Apple or Nvidia, meaning that there's a large capital gain. Well, you could potentially, gift a share or gift, a couple of these shares so that it adds up to roughly $7,000 and give this stock directly to your kids. And because they're most likely in a lower tax bracket than you are, they would be able to sell this stock for less taxes than you would, and then they can contribute this money into their Roth IRA. So what are the 3 jobs that I would recommend? Well, in their sophomore year, after they've just finished and they're looking to get a summer job, in this summer, I would recommend they work for one of their favorite retail brands. Now, whether this is Lululemon, Levi, or Apple, they could work in the Apple retail store. I recommend them working for one of their favorite brands because they're going to be able to get great customer service. And the reason why this is important is because they're going to be able to really understand customer needs. They're going to help find creative solutions to help address those needs and ultimately help make the sale and work in a team environment. And so what I would recommend is that summer after their sophomore year, that they look to work for a retail company or brand that they're passionate about. The reason, again, you always want to do this too is that it gives them some work exposure. It also gives them some money to spend on living expenses, going out to eat with their friends, paying for car insurance, and it also helps them understand the importance of customer service. I think this would be a great job for them to start their sophomore year after they finish in the summer. Once they're in their junior year, I'd recommend that they look at something that is in the food service industry. So this summer, after they finish their junior year, I would recommend they look at companies like Chick-fil-A, Chipotle, any companies that are in the food service industry. Maybe that's Kava, just depending on where you're located. But the reason why I picked food service industry is because typically these brands like Chipotle or Chick-fil-A or Kava are going to have good training programs, and they're going to help your child develop teamwork skills, working on the line, great customer service, but they're also going to see what creates a world-class organization in terms of operations and efficiency. And if they're like most teenagers, they're probably burning more calories than you thought was humanly possible, especially if they're involved in sports. So this will also cut down a little bit on your grocery bill, but ultimately just give them some good experience, working that summer. Once they're finished with their senior year, they're probably graduating in June, mid-June maybe, and most colleges in my experience just start pretty early. Sometimes they start in early August or mid-August, and so that summer is actually pretty short. So there's not much time to work here. And if you're looking to work for a more established company, they may not even want to hire on somebody for only a month or 6 weeks. So I would actually take a more different approach here. What I would recommend in order to get some skills in terms of negotiation and sales is I would recommend they work for a used car dealership. Let me give you some background on why I would recommend this. I was just recently listening to the audiobook of Apple in China, and in the book they go over one of their key tenets, and that is negotiation. And as Apple works with a lot of different suppliers, they had one employee that was their top negotiator. His name was Tony Blevins. They called him the Blevinator because he was so ruthless in his negotiation skills and was able to help Apple get some very good contracts negotiated in their favor. But he was from North Carolina, and he actually was able to work at a used car dealership in the summers before going to college. And this is where he really was able to get his skills down in terms of negotiation, addressing needs for the people that he was working with to make a mutual agreement. And so if they're only going to be working for maybe 6 weeks or a month, I think this would be some good skills to have, really make them appreciate the time and effort that goes into putting a deal together. And this would be a good opportunity for them as well. So again, those are the 3 different jobs that I would recommend, and I strategically put these in their sophomore, junior, and senior summers. And again, I would recommend that, again, you make the gift to them so that they don't have to spend their hard-earned money putting this money into their Roth IRA, and then they'll have some money that they can budget and spend on themselves, whether that's looking at spending some money on food, car insurance, whatever it may be. But I'd also encourage you to work with them to help them invest the money once it's in their Roth IRA. So encourage them to think about companies that they're currently interested in, companies maybe like Lululemon or Apple or any companies that are public that they like to buy from, that they're interested in with their friends, and have them start purchasing some stocks in those companies. This will make the process a lot more fun. It'll make it a lot more engaging. And when they have some skin in the game, it's going to help them learn a little bit more too. So overall, I think this would be a good process for them to work through, and it can kind of make you the hero, right? Because imagine they're going to start building up some money in their Roth IRA accounts. It's going to grow tax-free. If they're 16 or 17 or 18 years old, well, they're going to have probably 40 years for this to compound. And it's a great way for them to get exposure to the stock market, to investments, to compound growth. And you're going to do it in a way where you're mentoring them and you're helping them do it in a positive light. So overall, remember there are some nuances to this strategy, and due to compliance purposes, I can't get into all of the nuances. But one of the things you want to make sure is that when you contribute to a Roth IRA, you can only contribute up to the amount that your son or daughter makes per year. So if they only make like $3,000 that summer, and that's all their income for the year, then they can only put in $3,000 into their Roth IRA. If they end up doing a great job and they work a lot of hours, or they're in a sales role where they can make more money, then if, for example, they make $10,000 that summer, well, the limit's still $7,000 for the Roth IRA, so they can only put $7,000 in. So when you file the taxes, you'll just have to make sure that you file their tax return and that you make the right contribution to the Roth IRA. But again, these are just some of the nuances, and I don't want you to get too sidetracked. But overall, it's how can you get your kids excited about investing in their future? How can you do it in a way that is beneficial and get them set for the right track before they enter into college? So if they're doing these things, if they're getting this experience, it should also help them get more prepared for going into a major that they're excited in college, and having these work experiences in different areas should help them really get a jump start on making sure that they're studying the correct major, the major that they're most passionate about. So if you found this helpful, go ahead and click in the comments below. Let me know your thoughts, questions, or maybe even any improvements upon this strategy that you've been working on or been hearing about, I would love to hear more. So thank you so much and have a great day.